Welcome back to the Crossover with Joe Arlauckas, the podcast that is quickly becoming #1 throughout Europe and so many other continents. You've enjoyed in-depth conversations with personal chats, big names like Zeljko Obradovic, Kyle Hines, Theo Papaloukas. But today, we got another type of star power on our show. We have a true story of hard work, climbing his way from the very beginning and still in the process of reaching his maximum potential. A player that left his family for in the comfort of his home country of Lithuania because he felt like it was the right move for him and for his career at the young age of just 18. Well, it seems like that move's paid off, and now he's back with his original team in his hometown of Kaunas. Please welcome to the Crossover, Marius Grigonis. How are you, my man? Everything good?
I'm good. What an introduction.
It feels good to put you in the names with like Zeljko Obradovic and Kyle Hines, doesn't it?
Not bad, not bad.
Hey, first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and hope you and your family and everything are doing good in this crazy time. Good, that's an important thing. I want you to be honest with me now. My first question in the show is, have you listened to the podcast before?
I listened to a couple episodes, but not like a whole thing for sure.
Not a whole thing. All right, that wasn't the answer I was looking for, my man.
I mean, I get these emails and I checked a couple of them. So, I mean, I will start from now then.
There you go. Yeah, I've had a couple of your homeboys on. I've had Japtokas on. I've had Jasikeviches. I've had all the Lithuanian guys. You're like my third Lithuanian guy I've had so far.
Oh, perfect.
I'm trying to get the Lithuanian guy that I need to get on the show is Sabonis. I mean, that guy.
I don't think it's happening.
You don't think I could sit down an hour with him and talk to him about his life and everything else? I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, maybe one-on-one, yes, but through the computer, I don't know.
How well do you know Adidas?
I mean, we go these on national team. He's always there, so we always talk with him. I mean, he has this hotel in Palanga. We always stay there, and he's all the time there. So I mean, we talk. He's always when we lose, he's always complaining and whatever. But he's a really good guy, really funny guy. When you get to know him, he's a really good guy.
It's amazing how quiet he is if you don't know him. And then when you get to know him, it's like you can't shut him up sometimes.
Yeah, he just seems like that, when he's doing these interviews or whatever. But when you talk to him one-on-one, then it's completely different.
Exactly. Well, let's start from your beginning. I've done most of my research on you. I've got some help from my friends also. But you come from a basketball family, correct? I mean, it's other than the fact that this country that you come from is like the bed of basketball. It's just amazing. Your family also is into it before you were even born, weren't they?
I mean, it's nothing, original. Here, everybody is like this. Like, you start from your, I don't know, grandparents and your father, and if you have older brother, and then, I mean, it was always in my family. Everybody was watching Zalgiris all the time, all the national teams, and I mean, it's normal here in Lithuania, I guess.
Right, and you played with your dad, you played with your brother, you played.
I mean, in backyard, yeah. I started. I mean, my brother is older 4 years, so I was my first steps was playing against him 1-on-1.
So they used to beat you up then.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I had this easier rules. From the free throw line, it was 3 points for me.
Right.
So I mean, it's normal. You have a sibling, you're trying to compete with him. Now I can beat them for sure. 2-on-1, easy.
Yeah, that was my question. I was like, when was it? It's like a two-parted question, I guess. Number one is, when was it that you realized that this was something that you wanted to do for the rest of your life, but more in a funny way? Like, when was the moment where you're like, all right, dad and brother, I can't play with you guys anymore. You guys aren't good enough. I need to move on. When did that point come?
I beat my brother, I don't know, when I was maybe 14, 15. So he was 19, 18, something like that.
Right.
And I started to believe that I can play professional, I don't know, from 16, 17, something like that.
Was there like any type of animosity with your brother? Did he get upset with you? Was he was he like?
I mean, he was getting upset. It doesn't matter if it was basketball or video games. I mean, it was always fighting. If I start to win, he just, we start to fight basically.
This is so typical of this.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had friends. I never had a younger brother like that, but I had or an older brother like that. I had friends that I used to beat up on all the time. They get so mad at me. Like when I got
yeah,
done,
yeah,
I'm like, I can't
yeah,
play with you guys anymore.
yeah,
But I know that I mean, at that point, it seems like basketball became part of you from a very young age. It says that you started playing when you were 15, 16 years old. I mean, I think your player stat says from 2009, which you were around
yeah.
15. Um, when I grew up, I grew up thinking that even though my dad didn't like it, I was like, I'm going to be a professional athlete no matter what I do. I wanted to play
Mhm.
baseball. I didn't want to play basketball. It just happened that it went that way. So I wasn't really a great student at school. And it's like grades to me were like secondary. It was like, I'm going to be a professional athlete. Leave me alone. I'm a father should get mad. Now I've heard through the grapevine that you weren't really a great student either when you were younger.
I
School
mean,
wasn't your thing.
yeah, I mean, until I think ninth grade, I was doing really good. I mean, but then again, then I went to this Zalgiris B team, and you
Nice.
have morning practices and evening practices. Then you have to sacrifice something. So I decided I will not go to school, go to practice. But I mean, I went to really good school, and I still had to, do all the exams by myself and everything. But I mean, of course, all my energy was into basketball.
It, what, how were your parents about that? What were your parents thinking about the fact that your grades weren't doing good and you're spending all your time playing basketball?
I mean, my parents was like, okay, so he probably will play basketball. I mean, you still have to study or whatnot, but like, especially like my grandmother was always nagging, like, hey, what you gonna do if you're not going to be a basketball player? You have to study. Or even when I started to play professional basketball, she was kept saying like, hey, you still have to go study. This is, you won't make a lot of money from this and whatnot. So it's I mean, I think it's normal.
Yeah, it is. It's no, especially like the grandparents. They've lived a lot longer, so they don't.
Yeah,
My dad never believed me. Even when I was playing, he was like, "You still need to go back to school." I'm like, I've graduated. There's no more school for me.
yep, yep.
When 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 did you think that you could compete with the big boys? When was there a certain moment? Was there a certain time, or was it just a gradual climb up the ladder where you said, "I can do this. I know I can be a professional player and I can compete with the best."
I mean, it was like, how can I say, two parts. Like here in Lithuania, we were dominating, we were winning everything, and even when we play against kids from Barcelona or Madrid, we were still beating them. We had a really good team, and so you you begin to imagine, oh, I can play easy and whatever. Then we went like under 16, under 18, and then you see that you need to improve a lot.
Right.
And when I went to second division of Spain, Leboro, then I realized that, wow, if I want to play, I need to work way harder, do way more. And like from that day, I started like, okay, step by step, step by step. It would be
So
awesome to realize this way sooner, but it is what it
yeah, well, unfortunately or fortunately, there's so many different things in your path as you go
is.
that help you not realize that you're there
Yeah,
yet.
yeah,
So, and well, you just talked about playing against Madrid and Barcelona when you were with Zalgiris, the young guys, and was that a reason or maybe something that gave you the idea to move to Spain at such a young age? And we're going to get into that, obviously, that's a big part of your life. Was it playing against them, or was it just the fact that you knew that that was the step up for you?
I mean, by that time when I moved to Spain, it was just so random. I mean, I had no agent, and then one guy called me and he said, "Hey, do you want to go to Spain?" And I was like, "All right." And it was just random, and I
Really?
didn't overthink it. And okay, let's do it.
And I mean, that's just you went by yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
You left your family, who's been a big part of your life. How difficult of that? I mean, I'm imagining as you're talking to me, you've made this decision because you played against Spanish players. You know they're good players. You feel like you can get better, but when you get to Spain, do you realize that, oh shit, this might be a mistake? I might have made a mistake.
I mean, like the first days, I mean, I was in Huesca, and everybody from Spain know Huesca club, and I mean, it was some difficulties there. I mean, obviously, when you go to Spain first days, you have no internet. I mean, it's some always issues with the Wi-Fi. So I had no internet, couldn't call like my parents. I mean, it was some difficulties. I saw the level. I thought, okay, here I for sure I can play, but I had a coach, Kim Costa. He wanted to like if he told me if you're not willing to work hard in practice, you're not going to play. And I thought, I mean, I'm better than everybody. I can for sure I can play. And after first games that I was playing, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, then I realized how, the basketball world works. And I talked with Kim, and he helped me a lot to realize that. And I mean, for sure, it was hard. It was hard I mean, I think I was 18, 19, and first time without parents to cook by myself.
Right.
I mean, I Googled everything, how much time I need to put these spaghettis in the boiling water or whatever. But it's it's experience.
I mean, just to hear you complain about the fact that there was no Wi-Fi and you had Google to help cook. Well, when I came to Spain in like 1980
You only
something,
have letters.
I couldn't even get it took me 4 months to get a phone in my apartment. My mom and dad thought I left them forever. What did you know about the culture and living there? Did you speak any Spanish at all before you got there?
No, zero Spanish.
Zero.
I mean, for sure I knew that it's different than in Lithuania. Like people are different. They are, I don't want to say more friendly, but they talk more and they like warm people. And when I came there, zero Spanish, and Kim and everybody there in the Huesca couldn't speak any English, so it was
Exactly.
and I had only one American guy, so I mean we were trying to figure out with him.
How sick of you of that famous phrase that I heard so many times in Spain? It's like, you're in Spain, you have to learn how to speak Spanish.
Yeah, so they gave me I think 2 months. 2 months, and after 2 months they were like, hey, come on, you're here 2 months, you have to know Spanish.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm assuming that you speak a little bit of Spanish now, right?
Yeah. I mean, in my second year in Manresa, I went like I had a teacher, and I was okay.
Right.
I have to learn this.
Good. That's good. When I played years ago, Huesca was at the top of the game. They were in the ACB. They were always a difficult team to beat. They were kind of like a Zalgiris in the EuroLeague,
Yeah, but they were. We practiced one time in that gym that they were in when they were playing ACB. I mean, that old gym is. It looks really hard to play it.
Hey man, I scored a lot of points in that gym. It wasn't that difficult, but the floor was terrible. I don't know if
I think it's still the same floor.
Same floor? Oh, it's terrible. But Huesca had such a great tradition. But leaving your home to go, you didn't. And with all due respect to the city of Huesca, which I've been to so many times, you're not leaving for Barcelona or Madrid or Malaga. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
When you get there, what are you thinking?
I mean, at first it was. I mean, doesn't matter what city you're in, like it's a small town or whatever. You still, if you find like couple places to go to eat, to hang out with teammates or whatever. So I found that in Huesca. Okay, first months it was difficult, but after that I still like it has one of the best restaurants that I've been in Spain, in Huesca, for sure.
Oh,
like
you could eat good in Huesca.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
it's cheap, and it's amazing.
And cheap back then for you was important, I imagine.
Oh, I was saving every euro for sure.
When my first time was in Caserta, Italy, and I called my agent, or then I went to Spain, to Malaga, and I was like, I called my agent. I said, look, I said, I never want to go back to Europe again. I can't do this. I can't. It's just not right. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, the food's different. The people don't speak English. You know, I made all these complaints. He just looked at me. He says, look, he says, is the ball round? And I said, yeah, the ball's round. He's like, is the rim the same color? Is it orange? And I said, yeah. He's like, are they playing 5-on-5? And I said, yeah. He's like, they just play basketball. He's like, that's all you have to do. He's like, don't worry about the rest. He's like, the rest will come easy. And exactly what you said. I found, you know, those 2 or 3 places where you felt like you were at home, where you could walk in and they knew your name and they were okay. And that's part of adapting. But your first year was, I mean, you played well right off the bat. Like you said, you struggled a little bit in the beginning to kind of get the understanding of you and your coach. But how important was that first year for you in Spain for your confidence?
I mean, I knew that. I mean, I can play, and I was playing in the second division of Lithuanian. I was doing good, and of course, first time out of my country, so I wanted to do good, and it was like, okay, helping me build my confidence even more, and it was. I mean, then again, I didn't understand what level is ACB, and I
Right.
thought, okay, if I do good here, I will go to, I don't know, Malaga or whatever. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I realized sooner or later.
A lot of people don't understand what the second division in Spain is like. It's called Lev Oro. That was where you walked into. It's sometimes it can be more difficult playing in Lev Oro than it can be in the ACB because you have every mix of player. You have the young kid who wants to get better. You have the middle-aged kid who hasn't quite developed yet to become that ACB player who's struggling and frustrated. Or you have, which is the worst of all the players, because I've seen so many games, are the guys that are finishing their career, they don't play in the ACB anymore, and they just want to keep playing, and they're the hardest guys to play against because they know the game so well, and most of them are like these big brute like guys that'll kill you when you go to the basket.
Yep.
How difficult was it for you? Because Lithuania is not known as a physical type of basketball; it's more of a finesse type of basketball. How difficult was it for you, the physicality of the Lev Ordo? Because it's more physical competition than even the ACB sometimes.
Uh, I mean, I had really great team. Everybody was young. Only one guy, Javi Mujica, he was like 32, so he was oldest, and the other guys was like 26, 22, 20. And so it was an easy transition like to the team, to all the atmosphere was great. And I mean, for me, the hardest part was like the Leboro refs. I mean, it was different. I mean, the spin move was always travel there by that time. I mean, they were calling fouls or not calling fouls. I couldn't figure it out like half a year. It was so different from Lithuania and everywhere else I played. So
Right.
I think it was that the most difficult part.
Yeah, the referees they love to call that travel. I think there's something with there's something like to do with the hands, especially at that
Yeah,
level.
they love to
It's
show that side.
amazing. But your numbers were good. I mean, you averaged about 13 points a game, and it didn't take long for an ACB team to come running. So the first team that you went to ACB was you got a little closer to a bigger city. You got the Manresa, which is close to
Yeah,
Barcelona.
yeah.
It's not in Barcelona. It's still a small town, but it's a step up, I guess, because you got Barcelona right next door.
Yeah.
Was there other teams at that point looking at you, or was that your only ACB option?
It was Fuenlabrada and Manresa, basically, like two like normal offers, like I mean official offers.
Uh,
And I decided, I don't know why, but I think because Pedro Martinez was the coach,
right.
and I thought, okay, let's try Manresa.
And now you're there. You're in the ACB. What I mean, I don't think playing in Zalgiris as a young kid, the ACB was a dream of yours, was it?
Uh, I mean, I don't know. When I was a kid, it's like typical kid from Kaunas. He wants to play only in Zalgiris. But then again,
Yeah,
when
of
you grow up,
course.
you realize there are many more teams, to play for. And I mean, ACB was still like I knew that it's one of the best league in Europe, and to
Right.
play here is like big accomplishment.
Now you're in, like you said, in one of the best leagues in Europe. Your numbers didn't match the numbers that you had the year before. Was it the level? Was it the fact that you had just a different responsibility in the team? Well, what was it that because the team didn't do well for the 2 years? You guys ended up in 16th place both times, and no matter how well a player plays,
Yep.
you a lot of times you reflect on the way the team finishes at the end of the year. So how difficult of a moment was that for you with this change? Not ACB, your points aren't there, the team's not doing as well.
Uh, I mean, we started. I mean, that season was crazy. I think we had like 20 players, 24 players, something like that. Like one comes in after 1 week, the other. It was like this. Everybody was getting injured. Somebody was getting fired. I mean, the money was late after. By that time I didn't care about money, but for the other guys, it still affects a little bit. And I mean, but I still wouldn't say it was a bad season. We beat Madrid in last game in Madrid, and we survived that season. And it was, I mean, okay, we still in ACB, and it was,
Right.
I mean, good season, whatever. For me, it was. I mean, like again, first round for sure was difficult because I never played against these guys that plays in EuroLeague. I was watching only on the TV, and I thought, wow, this is crazy. And
Right.
I remember we played, I think, third game or second game against Barcelona, and I saw Navarro. I was like, I mean, I was just, shocked, and it was just, I don't
Did you
know,
have to did you have to defend them?
yeah. I mean, okay, three quick fouls immediately. I mean, he goes from this diamond, and you cannot touch him. I mean, I'm rookie, and he's a legend, and okay, three fouls, so go sit down, -3. And, I mean, it's normal, and it was still like I was appreciating every second. I mean, if I was playing bad or good, I was still. I mean, this is amazing experience.
Was there, I always talk about athletes and that how much adversity that you have to deal with during a season, during a career, the ups and downs all the time, the good game, the bad game, the good week, the bad week, the coaches, the travel. There's a lot of people look and say, well, you guys make a lot of money and just shut up and play basketball. That's all you should do. But nobody understands what goes on the day to day and the pressures sometimes of playing. How do you, I mean, you were young at this point. There's so many players, young players like yourself, that are lost, that just go away because they can't handle the adversity. They can't handle the daily changes of a good day, a bad day. How did you deal with that? Was there any type of advice that you had? Was there any type of just, is it inner strength and a mentality that you had that I'm just going to get better every day?
I mean, for sure, nobody prepared me for that, so it was hard. You playing in Manresa, and you're not making like basically no money, and you want to make money, and it's okay, 1 week bad, the other 1 week bad, and it's. I mean, I was by that time I was really taking in everything. It's just like
Mm.
okay, bad game, so okay, 1 year they will kick me out, they will fire out, I will have to go to study like my grandmother said. It was these small depressions. And I mean, like through the years you start to learn, you start to uh to try to deal with that, and you grow as a person, and it gets a little bit easier. But by that
Mm.
time, nobody told me that it's going to be that hard. Nobody told me how to prepare, and it was hard. You come back alone to your small. I was living in a dorm.
Right.
I mean, you go to this small studio room, and it's like like it's hard, but I don't know how I got past that. But I mean, I think during all the seasons, I started to talk with myself and to prepare myself.
It's interesting because I always compare the fact that when I dreamt of playing professional, whatever sport, baseball, basketball, whatever, your dream is never part of what you're saying. Your dream is never part of sitting in that room all by yourself and thinking about how bad you played today, or how I didn't get paid, or how I'm not making a lot of money, and if they cut me, what's going to happen to me if they cut, you know what I mean? That's never part of your
And
thought process when you're
nobody tells you that,
prepares you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only thing you think is like, yeah, I'm going to be a professional player and I'm going to win a championship and I'm going to do this, but no one realizes all those steps along the way. And it's funny that you say that, because I feel the same way through like most of my career when I played. Was I don't know what got me through the next step. I can't even look back now and lie to people, because it was just something I think I had inside of me to just keep going. And I think it seems like that's what you have. You don't know any better. I mean, I'm not saying you're a dumb kid, because I was a dumb kid, but sometimes it's good to be naive, and not know any better and just keep going. So I think that's what I see from you. But from Manresa, now you're going to the islands, my man. Now you go. now you're heading down to Tenerife. I mean, that's a move right there. That's a great move, because weather, the beach, the basketball, everything. Was that an important move for you? Was that like the next step up? Or was it just like, hey, I got an offer in an island, I want to get out of here and go?
I mean, from Manresa, I mean, so my first season, I had like the injuries and I couldn't play all the season. So second year in Manresa, I played whole season. I was still playing like only a shooter, standing in the corner, ready just to shoot. And Chus Vidoreta, I mean, I think we were preparing for Olympic Games, and Chus Vidoreta was there with the Spanish team, and we talked, and he offered me like, hey, you want to come to Tenerife? I will let you play more with the ball and everything. And then it was easy decision. I mean, okay, let's go, let's try.
So a lot of it had to do with the fact that you felt like you were going to be, a lot of those coaches lie to you too,
Yeah, now I know. Now, by that time, I was still struggling. Now I know that all the coaches can say whatever in the beginning, and after it's totally different.
It always seems like that until you get there. Then once you're there, they're like, hey, just sit in the corner and take jump shots.
Yeah.
But this is like, again, you're on a different team now. I mean, again, with all due respect to Manresa, you're going up a level. You're playing in the BCL this time. The team's qualified for the Basketball Champions League. Now you're playing a couple more games a week, and everything changes. Is this also the step that you wanted to take? I mean, because it seems like your career is like this ladder. It's like the slow climb up this ladder, and this is just your next step.
I mean, I talked with my agent and we decided, I mean, we have this 5-year plan or whatever, and we have to every year do some, little step by step up. And yeah, like 2 games a week. It was, I mean, in ACB, one game you play, if you play bad one game whole week in a practice is there, and you like, okay, I have to do better. And you go in, it's 5 minutes, and you go sit down, and it's again, So 2 games, it's good to bounce back every time. You have one bad game, you go into the next one, you don't overthink it, and it was good. And by that time, Champions League was first year, and I mean, we were dominating from the beginning.
Right.
It was really fun to play, fun to travel. I didn't have my family, so I was basically 1 week in Europe, 1 week on island, So it was fun to travel. We were staying like in Barcelona, Madrid overnight, then traveling. So it was fun for me to travel and to experience that island life.
That's a lot of traveling though from there, because normally when you leave there, you have to go 2.5 hours just to get to Barcelona and Madrid, and then go from there. So, but listening to you, it makes me so happy because you're one of the first people that I talk to. Because I always say, like, all you players are crazy that you say that you guys play too much. I would rather play games every day than have to go through a week of practice. Like you said
Yeah.
before, a week of practice after you have a bad game is the worst week of your life.
Yeah.
You know, at least like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, after you have a bad game,
Oh,
it's terrible.
for sure.
And then Thursday, Friday, you have to prepare for the next game.
Yeah.
So I never understand why players say that there's too many games. It's too much. It's too much. There's never too many games.
I mean, it's I can like 2 games, okay, 3 games, but sometimes like now with all this situation, like you have to play
Right.
4 or 5 games during a week. It's hard. It's like especially here in Lithuania, like you play EuroLeague game, then Lithuanian game, then EuroLeague game in Lithuania. This transition, like you have to be
Right.
always so motivated, and I don't know, like 2 games, 3 games it's enough. Like if I mean, obviously it's better to play, not to practice, but sometimes it's still for your body. You need those
Right.
practices.
Yeah, and traveling becomes hard too. I get it, but like I said, I'd still rather be playing 2-3 games a week.
Yeah.
Nowadays, sometimes you have to play a little bit more. It's a little bit more difficult. I get that because of the situation, but I was talking about the regular EuroLeague, the domestic league season. But you helped Tenerife achieve one of the biggest things that they've ever achieved up until that point, which was the BCL. They've won. Yeah, you said you dominated throughout, and you went to the Final Four. And although your numbers throughout the season were not spectacular numbers, they were enough for you to go to the Final Four and like step up. Like big players look for big moments, and you got the Final Four MVP, and you helped this team win a continental championship. How huge is this for you? I mean, are you even aware of what's going on?
I mean, when we started to playing basketball Champions League, like the group stage was like we were beating everybody by 30 or something, and then we started like, okay, we can we can win this thing, and like the season went on, and we were still playing good. We were like, I think, #1 in ACB until January, so we were
Mm-hmm.
playing really good. And then we started to think, and when we got this home advantage of Final Four in Champions League, I mean, we knew that we have to win. It was like this Final Four was good teams. All 4 teams were good teams, but we knew at home with the crowd always was full. The gym was always full, and we knew we have to win. And it was just, I don't know, it was awesome. After only 3 days, you realize finally you won something. It's already
Right.
there. It's already, you can write in Wikipedia and it will be there. So it's finally I got something, at least a piece of this that I wanted.
Plus, you got the MVP to go with it, so that's even better.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bonus.
Yeah, that's for most players. It's a bonus. It's a great bonus, but it's a bonus all the same. The most important thing is winning. I spoke with my last interview, which will be coming out soon, was with Andrea Tricheri, the coach for Bayern, and we talked about winning, and we talked about the BCL is not the EuroCup, and the EuroCup is not the EuroLeague, but what a lot of people don't understand, you hear people say, well, they won the BCL, or they only won the EuroCup, whatever. Nobody really realizes that it doesn't matter if it's like your local league at home, if it's your U18 league, if it's the BCL, if it's EuroCup, or even whatever. The time that you put in, the effort that you put in throughout a season, and the fact that you play these games and you've got to the first stage, the next stage, and you keep going is so important. And it doesn't matter. You don't know what competition you're playing. You're just playing to win that competition, and it all tastes the same when it's all done, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like even when we won Lithuanian championship, I mean, still when I won first, it doesn't matter. We beat Rytas by 40, I think, last game, and it was still amazing. My first
Right.
ring, and it was awesome. Maybe for Yankunas, when he has, I don't know, 20 rings, maybe it's different. But for me, it was still, it doesn't matter that we won easily or whatever. I mean, you play 10 months and you win something, it doesn't matter what.
Now after this, you've conquered the BCL. You've conquered in 4 years. You've done great in Spain. Your name is known all around Spain. You're like one of those kids that when I saw you were 26, I'm like, he's got to be like 33. He's been around forever. I've heard his name forever. It's one of those guys. But you left Tenerife. I mean, you left like a rock star because I mean, you left as an MVP. You brought the title to the team. You helped bring the title to the team. And after 4 years of Spain, you decided it was time to move. And
the whole situation in Tenerife. I mean, it was really good experience. Everybody was good to me, but by that time, after the season ended, I talked with my agent. And I said I want to move, and let's explore our options. And then Aito called.
You wanted to move. You wanted to move. Why? What was your thought
I
process?
felt that I can do way more, like in different situation with different team, and I mean, I just decided on this. And the agent said, I think you have to move too, and then I don't know. In 1 week, Aito called my agent, and he loved me how I played in this Kings Cup. I had really good game. We lost by 1, I think, against Baskonia, but and they were organizing this new project in ALBA, and they told me that I will be a really good fit there.
It's interesting because I've known Aito for so many years now, but I've unfortunately had to play against him for years. I've beaten him, he's beaten me. But one thing that he's always had is he's always had this fascination, I guess, with younger players. He's one of the only coaches back in my day when I played that would play younger guys, and he's still doing that today. He likes to blossom young talent. Was that part of the reason that I mean, you're young at this point still, but you're playing. You're not a typical young guy like you were 4 years before that. But was being a part of Aito's team, knowing that you were going to get time, you were going to get his confidence, and that he was going to help you come along as a player?
For sure. Like when I got that offer, I talked with everybody that I knew, and I mean, I knew Aito that he was a really good coach and whatever, but after like I gathered all information, I was like, it's no brainer. I have to go there. If he wants me, for sure, I will improve my game. And when I went there, I mean, I found whatever I was expected. He's always. I think for him is the greatest achievement that his young player moves to a next level. I think it's not even about winning but when he sees that young guy is improving, I think for him it's the best thing. Like I heard that he was a little bit different back in the day, but now he's really calm. He's cracking jokes. Like his English is hilarious. So I mean, but by that time, our GM Imar, the Spanish guy, this assistant coach Israel, Spanish. Our trainer Pepe was Spanish. Me, Luke Sigma, Stefan Pena knew Spanish, so we were talking in Spanish all the time. I mean, it was. He's just a really, really funny guy, and he's always making fun that he's old, and this is the funniest thing.
But that was EuroCup now. I mean, so you again another step in that ladder. You've taken another step up in that ladder, and you proved yourself that year in the EuroLeague. Also, you averaged 11.6 points, and I mean, you shot 47% from the 3-point line. I mean, you have ridiculous numbers from outside the arc. It's your percentages are crazy. But what about the expectations that as you move up this ladder, do your expectations on yourself change? Because so many expectations come from exterior forces, the press, your friends, your family. But the highest expectations most players like you have are expectations that you put on yourself. Are you achieving all these expectations? Are you feel like this is it? You're on the road? Is it slowing down? Is it speeding up quicker than you thought? What's the process like while you're doing it?
I think you never achieve your own expectations because you always expect more, and you always expect that you're gonna be a better player, even better player, and if you don't achieve that, that's the thing when you get, pretty upset and I wanted more or whatever, but I was still like my time in Berlin was. I mean, we were doing good. We were playing really free game, and I mean the saddest part was we got really a lot of injuries in second group stage in
Right.
EuroCup, and we couldn't move on. I think we had way better team that we performed in EuroCup, but in German league, we got all the guys together and we went to the finals and we had a shot to win the title. But like I said, I was expecting to win the championships and to play even better. And when you lose in the finals, you saw your whole season. Then okay, I expected more, but it wasn't that bad. And again, okay, let's move on. Let's do more.
It's one of my favorite questions that I ask to mostly the people that have already played this game, like myself, but I like to ask the players that are living it as we speak. What's when you go to bed at night, do you think more about that championship you lost, or do you think more about the championships you won?
Sure, lost. I think mostly.
Really? Isn't it
You
so?
know,
It's so bittersweet
yeah,
because even like I'm 55 now, and I still, if I ever have a dream about me playing, it always seems to be losing a
yeah,
championship or losing a big game.
yeah. You
Why
always.
is that?
I don't know. Like for example, okay, in Germany, you had like now when I think it was only my 1 year in Germany, and maybe it was my last shot to win German league. So
Right.
that's why I think you go to bed and you're like, I mean, I had chance and I blew it, So it's you don't think, okay, I won. So when you win, you think, okay, you did all your best, you won. But when you lose, you think it was not enough. I could
Yeah.
have like, okay, maybe foul here, maybe a drive here, but it's. I think it's normal.
Yeah, it is normal, but it's so interesting to hear because over the years I've always wondered myself. I'm like, why do I only think about the bad games? It's like that's I guess that's what makes some people a better player because they're more concerned about getting better and doing that. But one thing I'm going to mess with you a little bit because I looked
Go
at all
ahead.
your stats, but it's going to come out good for you in the long run. I saw like a couple of years you were like 71% from the free throw line and 76% in Manresa. I mean, I'm looking at all your stats. You're at a career average 45% 3-point shooter. How can you shoot 71% from the free throw line for a season?
I mean, I think it was something in my head for sure. I mean, you overthink it. It's like every point is so valuable, and then you miss a wide open free throw. So maybe when you grow up, when you have more experience, you are more relaxed. You can control your mind and basically like free throws is all in your head because it's wide open shot. You shoot in practice, you can make 10 from 10, and you go in the game and shoot 70%. I mean,
It's
it's
crazy.
everything is in your head.
And then, of course, you have the people in the stands going, "How could he miss a free throw?" Like I just said to you too. It's like,
For sure.
but did you do anything? Because now you're one of the best free throw shooters in the game. I think if I have my stats here somewhere. Oh no, here it is, right here. You've missed 11 of 161 free throws over the past 3 seasons in the EuroLeague. So you're 150 make, 161 attempts. Did you do anything? Because this is just. I have a feeling that a lot of people that will listen to this interview will be young kids that want to that look up to you because of your trajectory and everything that you've done so far. Did you do anything specific to change that 71 or 76% that you had in Manresa to all of a sudden be shooting 90 something percent from the line?
I don't know. I still missed 11, 11 free throws. So
Oh, come on,
it's.
man.
I mean, you can do always better, but I don't know. It's free throws. It's everything in your head and about that routine. So you try to do. always the same, when you shoot. And then again, like in a practice, you shoot, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 free throws, whatever. Like in a game, you have to only shoot 2 times in a row, and that's it.
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
only 2 shots, So you make yourself, to think that, okay, this is only 2 shots, wide open shots. So you have to
Right.
always work with yourself, and that's the biggest key in the shoot a free throw.
Yeah, I think just it's repetition. I could never understand how you see these NBA players, not all, only NBA players, or some European players too, that they say, well, my hands are too big, or and they're shooting like 40-something% from the free throw line. It's like, just work at it.
Yeah.
Just I don't care how big your hands are. You have to adapt your hands to the
Yeah.
ball
Yeah.
to be able to shoot it. So it's just it's. I feel like you put a lot of time and work into it, but for the young kids watching, I was looking for a better answer than that, but it's just about being. So you're
You
just saying
wanted that the answer: shoot 100 free throws every day, and they will make you that.
Exactly. That's we'll edit that and we'll put the other answer back in there.
Okay.
So incredible experience in Germany, and bam, you're back home. EuroLeague, baby. I mean, this is it. This is your ladder. You just keep climbing it, as we go on. And was there other teams in EuroLeague interested in Zalgiris, or was it just your conscious moment to say, I've done everything I can outside of my hometown, and now I want to go back. I have the opportunity to go back, and your club began knocking on the door, or what? I mean, how did that come about? Did you make the call? Did your agent make the call?
I mean,
What was
the whole situation after Tenerife. I was already in talk with Berlin, and then Zalgiris called me and they said, "Oh, we want you, but you have to wait." I think they said 3 weeks or something. I was like, "Come on! If I wait, I don't go to Berlin, then I have nothing." So I signed with
right?
Berlin, and when I
So
signed,
you had an offer before Berlin to go to
I mean, not
Zalgiris,
official, but they were already talking
right?
with me.
They were
And when I
talking.
signed
Okay.
with Berlin, next day they called me, have you already signed? We want you back. I was like, I'm already with Berlin. And they called Berlin and like, okay, we'll pay buyout or whatever. But I mean, buyout was only next year because I signed like 3 years, I think, with Berlin.
Okay.
And I mean, I was happy that I stayed in Berlin because I thought this is too soon to go to Zalgiris. And during all that year in Germany, I was always talking with Zalgiris, and they said, "Hey, we're bringing you after the season for sure." And after the season, they paid a buyout, and I went to Zalgiris. I mean, by that time I didn't even consider other teams in EuroLeague. I knew that this is the best spot with Sharas and with my hometown and everything, and I wanted to come back finally. And I mean, it was the best option for me.
Was this the dream? Was this like a dream come true? Since you left Spain, that you would be able to get back, and because even when you're gone, you never know for sure that if your home team is still going to want you back.
Yeah. So the dream was to play in Zalgiris when I was like 12 years old, 14 years old. After, when you start to play in Europe, everywhere, then you realize, okay, I mean, they didn't want me then, so I don't care about them. You start to plan your revenge and whatever. But
Right.
then you realize how the basketball works, all the business and whatever. And I mean, it was for sure like a small kid's dream come true, for sure.
Well, who is happier, your family, or your team, or you?
For sure, family and friends first,
Your
and
friends, yeah.
then me, and maybe me and team is in the same level.
Is it more difficult to now that you come home? A lot of players say that when they go on the road and play a game, they're more focused on the game because they don't have all the internal stuff going on. Your home, your wife, your kids, your friends, your whatever. Have you found it more difficult to stay focused on basketball being back home in Kaunas? Because there's so many other things going on. Like from what I get from our conversation in Spain, you were you're 99% basketball, 1% external. That changes when you're back home. Has it been more difficult to make that transition?
It's like you have to manage these things. I mean, obviously, it's more things going around you. When you're alone, you can sleep. You can eat always the same meal at the same time. You can do that stuff. But when you're home, I mean, you have to manage. Sure, there's more distractions, and I was like before I went to Spain, I was all over the place. So it's when I went
Right.
to Spain, it was way better because I could concentrate without my friends, not going out, that much. You stay at
Exactly.
home and then just play basketball. So yeah, I it was for sure is more distraction, but you have to manage. If you don't, then you will have no friends, no family, nothing. Then
And
it's
no,
sad again.
yeah, but you might not have any career if you go the other way
Yeah,
also.
so
So
you
you
have
have
to
to,
balance things.
yeah. What was different 5 years later? What was different putting on? Of course, the first thing that's different is you're putting on the uniform for the EuroLeague team, and that's it's a bigger responsibility, bigger expectations out of you. But what did you see different, like when you got back and you're like, man, I don't remember this being like this. I liked it better in Spain, or I liked it better in Germany, or because when you become accustomed to something else, when you go back, it's never the same as it was before. Was there anything like totally different that popped up in your mind?
I mean, I mean, everything was different. Like when I was here, I told myself if I'm coming back, I will have a role. I have my place here. When I came here, I mean, the Zalgiris transformed the club completely, and it was like way better place. And for sure, like I think when you're local is bigger responsibility. Local player is a way bigger responsibility. Is so many media and stuff. You still, if you don't want to read it, somebody will send it to you, or you're still gonna read it. If
That's
somebody's
social
talking shit
media, man.
about you, your friends will, send it. Hey, look at this guy. So when you're playing, I don't know, like foreign, like not in your home, it's different because you're not that involved in that stuff. So that's the main thing, I think.
There's three moments I want to talk about with your time now with Zalgiris. First of all, you were actually with ALBA during this time, but when they went, I mean, the team who's always captured my heart, and Zalgiris has always captured the heart of, I think, many EuroLeague fans, just because of their dedication and the way they play, and what they mean to basketball. When you were in ALBA, do you remember watching the Final Four that they
Yeah,
played?
yeah, I remember. I
And
mean,
now you're telling me that you already knew you were probably going back to Zalgiris that year, so you had to be cheering for him, obviously, right?
when I was not with Žalgiris, I was still with Žalgiris all the time. Like all the players, all the Lithuanians that played in Žalgiris or from Kaunas, still watching all the games and cheering for them. And I remember when they were playing this Olympiacos series. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy. I mean, when they won, I wrote to all the Žalgiris guys. I mean, I was almost crying. Like it was completely emotional, and Sharas is crying. Like half the fans are crying.
Exactly.
It was like a big celebration in Kona. So of course I was with them.
Yeah, and I was commentating the Final Four, and and watching that game. That, I mean, of course they lost the first game. Unfortunately, they didn't play their best game in the Final Four, which was to be expected sometimes by a new team. But I felt like they had a chance to win. And then watching the game that they beat CSKA Moscow for third place, it was like they won the championship. It was,
Yeah,
to me, it was the most heartwarming thing in the world, because usually you just don't see that, because and I got to talk to Shardas afterwards, and it meant so much for him, for the country, and for the club, and for everybody else. He was so unselfish about it. He was more concerned about everybody else, and it's just such a Lithuanian thing. I think that you guys are you guys are all a family, no matter where you play, in Kaunas, in Zalgiris, or in other cities. You guys are all one big family, and you all cheer for each other.
yeah, we like we are a really big family when we are winning. We're doing good. But if something goes bad, everybody's attacking. I mean, but I think it's in most countries.
Yeah.
And when you're winning, I mean, when Zalgiris went to Final Four and to get at least one win, it was amazing, you know. But if you come with two losses, it's a different vibe, you know.
The other time I want to talk about was which I thought was even more captivating, was the run you guys made the next year when you won, I think, 7 out of the last 8 games. You won the last 6, and plus you needed to beat Real Madrid for the first time ever on their home court, and you were part of that. Now you're on the team. Well, what was that last 7 weeks of the season like? It was, I mean, it was crazy to watch you guys just go on this run. You guys had no chance to make the playoffs at one point.
I mean, everybody was saying that in media, and everybody was laughing. Oh, these guys are still saying that they can go to playoffs. I mean, we were asked all the time, "Hey, you think you can make playoffs?" Yeah, and everybody's like, "Come on, what are you saying?" And one of the EuroLeague coaches said that it's impossible to go to playoffs for Zalgiris. And when we started winning, everybody was like, "Hey, hold on, what's going on?" And when we won in Madrid, it was one of the best parties. After it was amazing. You know, we felt like
and no one invited me. I was there doing the game. Come on, man.
I mean, we were so happy we couldn't think. You know, and it was like a really amazing experience. All this journey, like how we bounced back, and it was amazing. And after this night in Madrid, and we go in our private jet, and we almost, I think something happened. We landed back to Madrid. We stayed one more night. It was
Oh, really?
yeah. And then again, Shadow was like, "Hey, let's go party again." It was it was a really good time.
Yeah, that was an amazing run that I thought was crazy. And the other time I want to talk about was, you know, now the next season, which was last season, you end up being injured. How, as far as I know, you talked about some injuries before when you were in Manresa, and you talked about missing some games and stuff. But this was, I think, probably your most severe injury.
Yeah.
What, I mean, I love to talk about the adversity and everything else. How difficult is that for you, number one, to be injured and not be able to play? And number two, I mean, I guess it's easier because you're home in Zalgiris and you have a lot of family support. It would have been better. It would have been worse if you did this in Germany or somewhere else. But how difficult is it for you to be injured, not be able to play in a moment where you're finally back with Zalgiris, you're with your team, and you're actually playing really well, and you're having one of your best seasons?
Uh, the first thing with that injury was so weird. Like it was this injury. I don't think that happens to anybody, but it happened to me, obviously. And
What happened exactly?
it's hard to explain, but like this, uh, I don't even know how to explain it in English. But this small toe, and this plantar fascia or whatever its name, it got torn or something like that. And like I played with that. I finished the game against Fener because I got injured like in first minutes. I got this injection and say go in. I finished that game. I played for 4 more weeks, and I said it's impossible. I couldn't practice. I just played games, and I said it's something for sure is wrong. And I went to the other doctors, and they said is you need to get this surgery. And I was like, I was by that time in Munich, and I said, come on, can you do something, you know? He said it's no way. And it's because like first when I met the doctor, he said, okay, we will check you, it's only positive. And I was like, okay, at 3 weeks, and I will be ready. And then he said, okay, at least 3 months, and you need to get a surgery. I was like, I mean, I started to play good, and now 3 weeks off, and I had to come back to Lithuania. So that whole trip, I was like, this cannot be happening right now, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, after you just deal with it, okay, rehabilitation. I have to work hard to get back, and I was ready to get back, and then this whole situation with COVID, I was like, okay, it's not meant to
That
be.
that was my next question. Were you actually ready to play before March?
Yeah, I was already traveling to Barcelona, and we were going with the bus and say, hey, turn around, the
And
season is
that was
canceled.
gonna be your first game
Yes,
back.
yes.
Oh my God, that must be. I mean, what's going through your mind at this point? I mean, because I know injured players, all they want to do once they get over that mental state that they're not going to play anymore, it's just all about boom, 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 working out every day so you can get back on that court. And you work out every day, get back on the court, and bam, the league gets shut down.
Yeah, I mean, it was that day I was like, come on, really? This year, this season cannot go worse, you know? It's I was trying so hard to get back, and now the season gets canceled, but then I started to think, oh, okay, maybe it will be even better for me, you know, to get 100%, to improve, to have more time to practice. And I mean, you have to move on. You cannot get stuck, you know, with one idea. Oh my God, this terrible
Right.
season. I get injured, so then you get this depression, you know. So you always try to move on to the next one.
Well, you moved on pretty well so far this year. You got Player of the Week, Week 5, MVP of the month in October.
That was really expensive month. I have to.
Why? What do you mean expensive? They made you pay?
Yeah, it's always if you get the MVP of the week, MVP of the month, you have to pay dinner. So it
Oh,
was
come on, man. Shouldn't that be the other way around?
no. Here we have this system, so everybody's cheering for the other guys to get the MVP, and then they get good food.
How much did the dinner cost?
So we have this. I mean, we have this complex. We have this whiteboard, and then, like, if you late is one thing, if you MVP one thing, if it's like a birthday one thing. So like if it's MVP, so you get like a sushi for everybody. So it's like about 300 euros or something like that. If you late or technical foul, so 5 guys off the board, you go to like this expensive restaurant and then you pay dinner. So it will be like 500 each, 400 each. So you know when you see your name 3 times, it's already okay 1,000. It's like that.
So you're not getting paid the same now that you got paid in Manresa, right?
Now I can buy dinner. Yeah.
You can buy dinner. Hey, one of the questions I have now that I think a lot of people want to know, then we'll get on to the end of the conversation, is how what goes on now for you guys as far as the COVID is going on, the games, some games get postponed, some get moved. But on a day-to-day basis, what's your life like now? Because it's not the same that you can go out as a player. I mean, I'm sure even your family and your friends have to be careful. You have to have some sort of distancing from everybody. What's a day-to-day like for a player now without that social gatherings or that the ability to be social with other people?
I mean, it's basically so you you eat at your home, like everything. You don't go to restaurants. You don't meet your friends. If you meet your friends, it's just like, I don't know, outside or something, and you just go to arena and come back home. You practice, and this like our day-to-day like practices, it didn't change. We still doing the same. Only our social life, like every other person, it's different. You have to deal with it. But I think the worst is already past us. We have to be still positive and just move forward.
Yeah, let's hope the worst is past
Yeah.
us. There's no doubt about that. All right, my man. Now we're gonna go on to the one-on-one with Joe Arlauckas, we call it here.
All right.
So in this season's edition of the crossover, what we've done is we've compiled 2 new sections, and this will finish off the interview for you. First one's a few questions to get to know a little bit about you personally.
Okay.
And the second one is maybe a little more of a difficult one. It's a 5-question point system to see exactly how much of a student you are of the EuroLeague. So you ready to start?
Oh my god!
And you get points for it. You get points for it too. So
all right.
They go easy. They go easiest to hardest. But let's start with you first. Let's learn a little bit about Marius Grigonis here.
All right.
All right. I can hand you a free round trip ticket to anywhere in the world to go on vacation. What's your destination?
I think I will go to Barcelona.
Barcelona?
Yeah.
Nice. How many times did you visit Barcelona while you were in Manresa?
I mean, at least 1-2 times a week.
Are you like one of these party guys? You like to go out and have a good time? We never got into that. You're starting to sound like you might be. You're Lithuanian.
That time when I was in Manresa, I was 20 years old. So, I mean, I had some time there.
All right. Last movie that you watched?
Movie, I can say I'm watching now TV shows, so probably the last one was The Undoing.
Our last series.
Yeah,
series.
The Undoing, this detective show.
The Undoing. Yeah. Is that Netflix?
I don't know. I was watching it, not on Netflix.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
It was with Nicole Kidman.
All right, The Undoing, Nicole Kidman. I'll write that down. Or I'll listen to the interview again because I'm too old to remember these things, you know? You sit down at a table to eat and you could order anything, any plate that you want. Anything in the world. What's your go-to meal?
It has to be or like really good steak or I can go for sushi all the time.
Sushi?
Yeah.
Damn. That gets expensive. Sushi gets expensive after a while, man.
Yep. I mean, there's so much good food. Just the first thing comes up in my life.
Your childhood idol?
I think I didn't have one, but for sure I watched these all the players. Like by that time it was Jasikevičius, Šiškauskas, Štombergas, Macijauskas. So they were like the best players for me.
Tell me, pre-game superstitions?
I don't have it. I don't have it. I always do different stuff, and I'm not that guy who only like ties one shoe, like always left shoe first, or I don't have this. I don't have this.
Mario, I still do that. I still put my left shoe on first. It's just crazy.
I don't believe it because it's if one time you won't do it, then you will start to think that it's
exactly.
That's why I'm missing, you know.
Yeah, but the problem, like if you do something different every day, like a superstitious mind is like, well, did I do the same thing that I did yesterday that was different? I don't.
It's too much thinking. I mean, I'm trying to. I mean, when I warm up, it's always the same. Like I do always the same drills, but whatever I do in locker room, for me, it doesn't matter.
Tell me the one game that if you could go back and replay it. And which one and why?
I think it would be with national team for sure. With against France in China, and against Greece. We were in Turkey then. It was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So probably those games.
How amazing is it for you as a young kid to play for a country that has so much history and play for that national team?
It's like, you know, the first time when you come to a national team is amazing and everything. Now I feel like normal. It's the thing.
Part of the team.
Yeah, it's part of the game. But like my first experience was in Rio Olympics, so you can imagine it was craziest thing to do.
That's nuts, especially with the Lithuanian team. I can't even imagine, man. That's the only thing I regret in my life, that when they asked me to play for them back in '92, that I never went to play with you guys. I would have.
That time for sure, the best year to play.
It would have been. But you know, my problem was that year I didn't know all the players yet. I didn't meet Sabonis. I didn't meet Kortanaitis. I didn't meet
with these guys. It's just one overnighter and that's it.
Well, I tell everybody it's better that I didn't go, because if I would have went and played, there would have been no dream team because we would have won the gold.
True.
Your top 3 EuroLeague memories.
So like you were saying this run that we made to playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So this run and that we won in Madrid, and we made to the playoffs, and what else? I don't know. My first season, and then we played a series against Fener. It was really a lot of stuff to learn, because Jericho tactics was incredibly, and I played really bad that series, like the worst games, but that experience was high level.
And I had a question we'll probably mix it in before we get over to the test. You played with some incredible coaches, Pedro Martinez, Aito, Sares. Give me one good thing and one bad thing about each one of them.
I can only say good things. Maybe I will. They will.
Not bad thing, but like something like, you know, because Sares can't be the easiest guy to play for.
The easiest?
Come on. I said he can't be the easiest guy to play for.
No. I mean, the good thing for sure, he's a genius in all the tactics, X's and O's. He's just one of the best. The bad thing, he's the craziest guy ever that I knew. I mean, he's so intense.
That's the way he played too, though. That's the crazy thing.
But
Aito, we kind of know that you learn. I mean, just, you know, him bringing you along. What about Pedro Martinez? What did he show you?
Pedro, he showed me like discipline and like how much you have to work on defense. You know, if you don't play defense, you're not going to play. He was always telling me, like, every practice, like, you don't play defense, go in the end of the bench, sit. You know, and but the worst thing about him, he never yells, but he's like telling you bad stuff with such a calm voice. It's like even goes like,
it means it goes deeper.
Yeah, it goes deeper, you know, and you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Probably that.
I remember when my dad told me one time, like, he used to yell at me all the time about my grades. And one time he just told me, like, hey, if you want to flunk out, don't worry. And I was like, wait a minute, wouldn't you rather hit me? You know, right? Just yell at me or something. Like, last question of getting to know you is, when this basketball thing is all done, which for you is going to be a long time from now, so hopefully that'll be like that. What plans you have? I mean, you have a beautiful wife, an incredibly beautiful child. I saw some pictures on Instagram. That kid is like a model. You gotta put that kid on like some sort of a baby thing.
Yeah, we are waiting for offers.
Yeah. You might make more money off of him than you do playing basketball.
So that's my plan.
There's your plan for the rest of life. Perfect. All right.
But it's hard to think now when it's finished. But
yeah, coaching,
I don't know. Everybody's saying like you can do that, this coaching or whatever. But something for sure with sports, for sure. I want to be still close to the basketball.
Perfect. All right, you ready? About your EuroLeague knowledge?
Let's go.
It's test time. Here we go. The crossover test, baby. Worth 10 points. Who is the last EuroLeague champion?
So last year, no champion, and so Ceska.
Boom. 1 for 1. So I told you this was going to be easy. You got 10 points so far. Next question, worth 20 points. Who is the top scorer of Zalgiris this season?
This season, top scorer. So me?
Is that your final answer?
It's my final answer.
Ma'am, you got it. 20 points. You see, you're doing good. Question number 3, worth 30 points. How many EuroLeague titles has Olympiacos won?
Oh, it's a difficult one, but I would say 5.
God, I would have said the same thing, man. It's only 2.
It's only 2?
Yeah.
Oh, so I thought 2 for sure, and I'm missing 3.
Well, 2 because we know the back-to-back.
Yeah.
And I thought there'd be another one somewhere in there also.
Oh, so that's okay.
So you missed that one. Question number 4 with 40 points. Which player has scored the most three-pointers in EuroLeague history?
The most. I want to say Navarro.
Bam, he got it. 40 points. That's huge. Now the final question, worth 50. Which teams participated in the first EuroLeague Final Four? You had all four teams. It's 2001, 2002. It's worth 50 points.
50 points. I mean, I will just shoot. I don't know.
It's like a three-quarter court shot, right? You just
yeah.
the deep one.
So Barcelona had to be there? Or I missed the first one?
Just go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish. I want to see how many you get right.
So I would still go Barcelona, Madrid, CSKA, and Maccabi. No, Panathinaikos. Panathinaikos.
Either way, you're 1 for 4.
So,
you only got one right.
So only was Madrid?
Benetton Treviso, Virtus Bologna, Panathinaikos, and Maccabi.
Okay. And who won? Panathinaikos won? Or?
Don't ask me. Listen, that one's not on the test. I think that's the one Panathinaikos won, right?
Okay, yeah,
2001, 2002.
I think so. Shishkauskas was there, no?
Yeah. I think that was the one that won. My man, this is it. It's the end of the crossover, man. All I can say is that I've been a fan of yours for a while, but I'm even more of a fan now. This ladder that you seem to be climbing is a lot higher than I think most people expect, and I think you still got a lot of steps still.
Yeah.
Let's
see how many steps are left.
Yeah, there's a few steps left, and I have a feeling that you're going to get to them. There's no doubt about it. You have a lot of things left to do at a young age, man. I just wish you the best of luck. Get through all this Corona stuff. Let's hopefully we get through this. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to the team. Best of luck to your beautiful wife and that kid who's going to be, like you said, he's going to be what we call in the States our 401k. You know, something like that. He's going to make more than all of us. I just want to thank you for your time again and appreciate everything that you're doing for basketball, for EuroLeague, and for everything, man. It's been a great interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.
Take care, my man. Stay safe.